So, first of all, how does it feel? I mean, that day, one day before the results are declared, and the very next day when you come to know that you are finally out of this journey on a positive note. How does it feel actually?
Hmm. First of all, yes, it felt different. Before
Yeah.
the day results were going to be published, we did know it was in the air that the result is coming soon, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, we can say it like it was a kind of a low phase because it's natural to get scared, and I was not expecting so much from myself because this time around I just thought that I'm going to give my best, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to think about if the results go in a good direction or a bad direction. But then
Yeah,
when
yeah.
suddenly it sinks in that the results are coming out, so finally I'm going to know what I did was right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
uh, it was a very difficult day, but the next day when results came up,
Yeah.
and suddenly I searched my name, then it naturally came into my mind like India is a very big country. There must be someone by this name, and this is not me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and then
Mm.
I like matched, and the roll number was mine.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how like at least I thought like yeah, it's real, but and then again I went on to like maybe I'm dreaming and I don't want to wake up. So it's a very special feeling, special for me, but
Yeah.
and I'll need more time to process what's happening.
Yes, exactly. And that was one of the reasons why we thought that, okay, we will wait for a few days till things actually sink in for you also, so that you are actually in a relatively calm and composed state of mind to share your journey so far.
Right.
When we used to go through your sociology answers, when we were kind of sure that you are ticking almost all the check boxes that are required in UPSC sociology, but we had no idea about how your other sections are going on, GS, essay, and all. And it has happened with a lot of candidates, like they do exceedingly well in sociology, but other sections they kind of take a hit. So we were keeping our fingers crossed, just on a wait and watch kind of situation.
Uh,
Kasturi, most of the queries are related to the sources. Many candidates are facing this problem of plenty, and there
mm,
are so many sources for each and every topic, and you know that especially for paper 2, the sources are discrete. They are not available in a concentrated and concise form at one particular place. So what would you suggest the aspirants about how to go about the sources for sociology?
yes, sir. Yes, it was. It's first of all, I'd like to convey to all aspirants that it's not a problem with you only. It's a
Mm.
common problem with this optional. Everyone feels the same because for sociology there is no particular fixed book that we get all the whole syllabus in a fixed place. We
Exactly.
anyhow need to explore more resources and go through them. uh,
Mm-hmm.
the thing is what in my first the previous attempt,
Mm-hmm.
I saw that I got very high marks in paper 1, but I was definitely putting in less efforts for paper 2, which
Yeah.
reflected in my marks. And
Mm-hmm.
that is natural. In first time around I didn't make specific notes. I was
Mm-hmm.
going through this particular, I gave this test series, and after those explanation videos I just like in a point wise manner I just wrote that this topic is covered under this. But the problem with this is I had to revise everything from the books that I had, and in
Yeah.
sociology the books are plenty. There's Harlambo's, there's George Ritter's book I've seen, the IGNU materials. There are a lot of notes that we refer to, a lot of links. We refer to Yojana magazine, and we
Yeah.
collect things from current affairs PDF, we collect things from newspaper. And it
Mm-hmm.
becomes, I realized that it became very difficult for the retention part. Like
Yeah.
putting all these things into just 2 or 4 pages
True.
becomes difficult. You can't be leaning to take the decision on in the examination hall that I'm going to write this. So I
Yeah.
decided that to save time for myself to like express myself exactly specifically in those 2 or 4 pages I got, I have to
Mm-hmm.
take some decisions beforehand. That if
Correct.
this topic comes, this subheading comes, anything related to Karl Marx, some particular alienation, then at least these 6, 7 keywords must be there in my answer, and these 6, 7 thinkers must be there in my answer. Yes, the
Okay.
tone may change depending on the demand of the question, but there
Mm-hmm.
is, I personally feel there is specific expectation from the examiner that you must be having the basics of sociology clear before you write something abstract or complicated. So one thing that we often do, I did myself in first attempt, is we feel that we want to express it as such that I have a lot of understanding of the subject, so I can skip the basics and write a very abstract or post graduation level answer. But this
Mm-hmm.
time around, I decided I'll make my answer simple first. If there is space and time left, I will focus on more abstract things. And
Yeah.
yes, that I feel that works. Whenever, like, if the question mentions a thinker, you can remember something, any of his work, a particular book or an article you remember, we can always quote that in the introduction. This is a
Mm-hmm.
very simple thing. We just need to like remember 4 to 5 words, and it might
Exactly.
sound trivial, but yes, the examiner will know that I'm putting in efforts to convey that I
Mm-hmm.
have done the work.
Yeah.
And then based on I made very comprehensive detailed notes this time around in particular
Mm.
subheadings of the syllabus, and anything related, if I had to add something, then I only put in those in point wise format in those 2 papers only,
Okay.
so that I kind of have this, I call it a photographic memory. When we
Mm-hmm.
revise something multiple times, I'll get a hang, and I'll easily, like immediately, I'll be able to recall that this thing I have read in this place. This is there in this page of my notes. The
Yeah.
thing when we write ourselves, we practice our notes. It's very easy to understand. It's very easy to retain in your brain
Mm-hmm.
and in a faster format rather than revising the books again and again.
Exactly. So if I try to sum up, two, three things are extremely important. Your own concise notes for all the topics of paper one and paper two. Number two is the list of keywords and key terms for
Right.
the syllabus topics. And three, the list of thinkers, related thinkers for most of the topics.
Yes.
That keeping those in mind, we have actually shared these lists on our elevator dashboard also, if you remember. The
Yes.
list of keywords, diagrams, we are dispatching the flashcards for thinkers so that the thinkers are at your fingertips, and you don't have to stress about recalling them. And
Yes.
secondly, Kasturi, if you feel like making a reference to any other initiative in India that has added value to your preparation, please feel free. There is no such restriction. If there is anything that you did not like about us or you want us to improve on it, that is also always welcome. Please feel free. No such restriction.
So it's not about I didn't like or something. I have been very public about this. I have shared
Yeah.
everything in my own Telegram also. That there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing to think about if this like this particular program is not helping me or there's something bad about that. I do
Yeah.
not relate to any particular program in that way because I'm a very selective person when it comes to mentorship. I am
Mm-hmm.
very choosy because I know what will work better for me. No one else can understand what exact weakness or strength I have. So
Exactly.
it's that's the advice I give to aspirants. That first understand what are your requirements. Where do you need help? If this particular program is helping you in that, then take that help. And if you
Mm-hmm.
don't need some other help it is provided, you can ignore it. That's ultimately it's your choice to know what exactly works for me. So
Mm-hmm.
a good thing I got a lot of help from all the test series that I had. I had joined around 3 for sociology. In my
Mm-hmm.
2020 attempt, I did one, and that was when I have benefited in understanding how to approach for sociology notes.
Exactly.
That's also a doubt I had in my first attempt. Like, how do I make everything in one place? Keep everything in one place. That test series helped me in that. Then in 2021, I skipped my UPSC attempt, but I took help from another test series to, especially focusing on my paper 2 areas.
Yeah.
so that I have enough content for the subheadings in paper 2 as well. The same,
Mm-hmm.
the 2 3 pages, I should have all the keywords in one place. I should have all the thinkers in one place, irrespective of whatever question comes based on this topic.
Mm-hmm.
Examiner should know that I know the basics of what I have prepared.
Yeah.
The second test series helped me in that. In third, when I took reliable and valid, I also like came across the website openly provides for some current affairs. I also got emails about that. You
Yeah.
can do this practice for yourself whenever you read a current affair. We don't need to jump in to remember everything.
Mm-hmm.
Exercise that helped me was I used to read some points. Maybe this event has been covered in this particular PDF, but I
Mm-hmm.
do this exercise for myself. I put that note, I put that point into my own notes, and there where I decide which relevant subheading will be like properly appropriate for this particular current event.
Exactly.
That also helps, like when we do this for ourselves, you will like all aspirants may realize that you don't need multiple revisions again. When you have done this something by yourself, it will remain in your memory forever, because at
True.
least you will remember that yes, I have done that. So
Mm-hmm.
then you will remind for yourself that what did I do. This helps a lot during the examination, since we get only 3 hours, and I think for a proper structured answer a aspirant needs 5 to 6 hours, but we don't have that time available. So a lot of
Exactly.
these decisions, these mind exercises relating everything, how to exactly recognize the relevant heading for this
Mhm.
particular current affairs, if these
Yeah.
exercises we do beforehand, we save a lot of time, and we can
Mhm.
only focus all our energy into writing those 2 or 4 pages in the examination hall.
Exactly. Yeah. So you mentioned about mentorship, and
Yes.
there is a lot of confusion going around about the difference between coaching and mentorship. So, what is your take on this? Because I personally believe that not every candidate may need coaching, but every single candidate does need mentorship. It helps them reduce their preparation curve and makes them more efficient. But again, that is my personal view on this. What is your take?
Yes, my view is the same. This is based on my own academic life experience,
Mm-hmm.
and I believe that everybody has a different comfort zone when it comes to studies or preparation.
Yeah.
Some students are there who need a particular guide or mentor to keep them into discipline. That you need to finish this much of syllabus and
Mm-hmm.
in this much time. I think
Mm-hmm.
that is where a coaching or a classroom teacher or a mentor helps. They will put in that discipline within you. But for
Yeah.
me personally, I'm not a person who can sit for 2 hours and listen to everything a professor or a teacher says.
Mm-hmm.
I did mention about I'm very choosy when it comes to mentorship. I personally feel we don't need 100% of the content or the uh, anything that is available by a particular coaching. We must have that self decision making skill to choose what exactly works for me. So I
True.
am a self study kind of person throughout my school and college life, and I depend only on myself to finish my syllabus and finish things and understand myself what actually I need to improve on. How do I balance my answers, or how do I divide my time? And
Mm-hmm.
I personally feel I take that decision better rather than depending on someone else. But
Yeah.
yes, if anyone feels that you need someone to discipline you, then yes,
Mm-hmm.
coaching helps a lot, and and you should take that.
Yeah. And one question that is especially relevant to beginners, and when is the right time for them to actually start answer writing? Should they wait for the entire syllabus to complete, which I don't think is ever possible, or
Right.
should they start off after reading a few major syllabus topics?
I feel personally that at least we need to be aware about certain basic concepts of a subject. Every subject has its own language.
Yeah.
I come from a technical engineer background. I don't understand what sociology says. It obviously sounded Greek and Latin to me when I was preparing. I started preparing.
Yeah.
Then I did cover NCRTs. I did cover IGNU to understand what exactly sociology means. What
Mm-hmm.
when an examiner of sociology checks your paper, there must be something in mind that this person writes this and they will understand that they have put in the effort.
Exactly.
That's not simple English language that we use when we write a particular subject answer. So I feel at least we need a basics clear. For sociology, there are certain things like cover some thinkers, and like in paper one, chapter 1, 2, and 4. These I think are more important to understand faster. Like first, before we go into the other topics like 3, 5, 6, 7, these are mostly repetition or value addition to what thinkers say or to some concepts, to some abstract ideas. So
Hmm.
at least I feel you should be like comfortable with the basics, what thinkers say, what exactly is research methodology, what are the perspectives we use to make our answer sociological. Once this is done, we can start in what exactly answer writing means. But don't get demotivated when you start writing bad answers. Don't over expect yourself that since day one I'm going to write a UPSC level of answer. That
Exactly.
definitely comes with practice. You will write very bad answer. Even I'll share the Telegram channel, so if anyone needs a more relatable thought or relatable experience, if
Yeah.
you read my answers when I was giving the first test series, it was
Hmm.
it was not at all what UPSC demands. I was just writing as we write some school level or college level answer, direct what is available in the resource. That is not UPSC expects from us. You will
Yeah.
gradually understand how to make a decent introduction, how to make a decent conclusion, how to come in the body. So that can happen parallelly, but after the basics are covered.
Yeah. So, and the next query, if you can please answer in brief, answer writing versus test series. So, for beginners, is it advisable to directly jump to test series 3 hours duration or 19 questions, or should they gradually scale up, starting off with answer writing?
I think gradually scaling up will be a better idea because we can't sit for 3 hours and write something we don't know. I
Yeah.
personally did that. I used to take up 1, 2 questions. It does not need, like, you don't need a very strict discipline that I'll write this every day. But yes,
Mm,
don't skip on that. You can do it once in a week with 3, 4 questions, or you can do 3, 4 days a week. However you're comfortable. But yes, first we need to understand how do we write the answers.
mhm.
Once you're into that hang of UPSC, you will yourself realize that my answers have reached that limit, and then take a decision of a test series.
Yeah, yeah. So yes, that would be very enlightening for the beginners, especially. All the very best, and thank
My
you for
pleasure,
your
sir. Thank
precious
you, sir.
time.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.